Good morning. What's going on?
Hey, not a lot. It's another week of training up there. You lost a guest already, I see.
We lost one already.
Yeah, she's coming.
Yeah, she told Chris and I that we stink.
Yeah.
But she couldn't stand sitting by us. So
I can understand that.
So hey, we got a cool. It's a family affair. It's kind of the podcast today, and so we're gonna actually have these guys come up. We're training this week, so we've got our 5-day advanced training going on this week. So, oh, look she decided to show up.
Hi,
Good afternoon. I'm gonna give her crap. And so we've got some guests. We're gonna actually have our students come up, but first, just tell everybody who you are real quick. Say hi.
Hey guys, I'm Marcella. I am half of East Coast Custom Detailing out of South Carolina.
And I'm Chris Williams, with it, owner-operator at East Coast Custom Detailing.
Cool. So we're going to go through. Hey, don't walk away yet. We got to have you guys all introduce yourselves. Come on up. She's eating. We're going to start with those two real quick. Come on up. So, hey, we're going to have our team because it's a family affair, So our first ones are actual father and son, and they actually claim it. So introduce yourselves real quick.
They actually claim it.
Yeah. What's going on? I'm Dominic McLean. This is Tom McLean. This is my dad/partner. We're out of Fontana, California. And our business is Mystique Detailing, and we service all of IE, California.
Cool. Right on. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
All right, young lady, come on up.
I'm Chris LaBelle out of New Hampshire.
Yeah, right on. What's the name of your company?
Cardigo Detailing.
Right on. And you've been detailing for a while. How many years?
Yeah, 10.
Right on. Cool. Well, welcome. Thank you. Cool. We've got one that just took an emergency call for his company. They own a couple different companies, so he's back there. So we'll have him come up here in a few. So it's man, I'll tell you, we had a busy week. The last since we were on last, like a week ago.
Yeah, well, let's see. What did we do on Friday last week? We went to an IDA meet and greet with up at Oscar Hernandez's shop, 805 Detail Shop up in Ventura.
Yeah, that was cool.
We had a good turnout there. Had some out of town guests, the Kimballs from Washington, Adam Garvin from Oregon.
Yeah,
and there were actually a couple of other out of towners too. I'm gonna mess up their names if I try. So,
well, it's just great to see so many people come down and support it. And Adam's such a he was there. He came and supported the event, but he was there for an educational event also. And the guys there's an example of a pro that's really dedicated to constantly educating himself and his team, on what's going on. So he's down there for a window tinting event, and it was pretty cool. We had taken and we had decided on Thursday is that after 32 years of ground search and rescue and air search and rescue and medic and everything else, about a little over a month ago, I was pushed into a mounted unit to bring my expertise of SAR to the horseback teams, civilian and military alike. And so Thursday we'd been on the hunt, and I haven't ridden in 28 years, and we decided that I'd start looking around for a horse, and we found what was what you run over and tell them real quick. Sorry. So we took in, we went on the lookout. I wasn't planning on buying a horse this soon. I wanted to kind of get my legs underneath me in the new unit and with the county here in town. And so we took and we found a horse up in Sacramento, and we took an emergency trip up to Sacramento last Thursday because right now horses it's like cars. If you can find one, they're gone. So we Chris just brought him up. So this is Rip. So Rip is a 7-year-old quarter horse, and he's a big boy. He's a bay roan, and he's pretty cool. He's pretty chill, and that was my first ride with him right there. And we get to bring him home Sunday, so he'll be here in Big Bear on Sunday, and him and I start training on Monday. So we start building our relationship and our trust, and he's going to have to put up with me a lot because he knows what the hell he's doing and I don't. But the reason why I tell you this too is I'm 55 years old. I've been doing the same thing. Search and rescue is never the same. It's like detailing. It's never the same. You're always going to have each mission. I mean, you're law enforcement, and EMS, and we'll get into that in a second. And I wanted something. It's kind of cool to do something completely out of my wheelhouse. Last Tuesday, I got on the back of it. I'm training. I'm going through training right now. And I got on and rode for the first time in 28 years. And I wasn't a proficient rider. I'd been around horses, quite a bit, but I wasn't what I'd call a good rider, And so I've been back on yesterday. I went over when Diane was working with these guys and took another lesson. And so I guess the lesson I want to teach is that, we were talking about earlier, is you've got to take and have interest, and, you got to be willing. I don't care what age you are. I don't care if you're 12 or 55 or 85, is to have new interest and new challenges is really, really, really important. And so make sure that you do those challenges. So thanks for pulling that up. This is cool. I don't know if we can play the video. This is our first introduction. I mean, literally the first time that we gotten close, and he was checking me out, and he wasn't too sure, and he's got an interesting story. He's only 7. He's really trained up really well though, and he's pretty mellow. But yeah, we're excited. So something new, new, and it plays into we're starting a nonprofit, and we got several detailers involved in this, and we're gonna go after several things. We're trying to figure out the name right now. But the horses are going to play into the nonprofit. So we talk a lot about that, putting back in your community. So not only, and this is kind of the funny thing, because his birth given name is Rip, R.I.P. So rest in peace. And he does search and rescue. So I'm not going to probably tell people his name. Right. Yeah. We'll just go with the Rip. Hopefully nobody figures it out. So with that, let's jump into this. So family affair, why was it called this? Is, these two are a couple that are dedicated to life, the journey of life and business. And they've jumped into the detailing industry. So I'm going to ask them both this, is that why detailing is, what led you to detailing? And so you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'll go first. So real quick, it was therapy for me. Initially, and then it just grew into a passion. Of course, I always had to keep my apparatus and my vehicles, immaculate shape, and did that. But after a while, it became like a therapy. So I started working on a bunch of buddies' cars, and broke me away from real world stuff that I was having to deal with. So that's how I got into it, really. And still to this day, I got to throw my headphones on, or at least one, and go to work. Yeah.
I like it.
For me, it's a therapy for me because I love doing interiors, so I would help him out, and I ended up going to SEMA, and that's where I met you, Diane, and Sydney, and you guys were amazing and just super sweet and welcoming. So I was like, this is the family that I need.
Right. Yeah. And it's cool. So what was the decision? When did the topic come up that you guys were going to work together, and how did that go over?
At SEMA, she came to me and she's like, I see you're a part of this group. I've seen what you've done in the last year and trying to get it. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be part of something larger than myself and get into it. And I was like, well, listen, if you're going to get into it, then you're going to go to 100%. You're going to go through exactly what I've been through, because I want you to know exactly where I'm at. I want you on the same level. I want you to get up to the highest of potential that you can go. And so we signed her up and sent her out here, and
she killed it.
Yeah,
she killed it. So went through a 5-day training and never worked a polisher in her life.
Nope, not till I got here.
And even these guys, I mean, day one, we have you guys over on the hood burning paint and everything else. And I think just going at it with new eyes and new explanations of what the tools are kind of help, right? I mean, it makes a big difference. So So let's talk.
So-
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask real quick, Marcella, does he just make you do everything he doesn't want to do?
It's actually the other way around. I try to bribe him because I hate windows. So I'll tell him, I'll do your door jams, I'll do this, I'll do that, all these things that I like doing, so that way he could do the windows and the stuff that I
Still
don't
get
like to
glass
do.
no matter what.
Yeah. Does anybody like doing windows?
My
Man,
arms are so short. It's like a
I-
baby T-Rex trying to get in there.
I can't stand it. Okay, so, and this is include Chris. Was there anything in detailing you just don't? For me, it's I can't. I don't like. I'm not real big fan of wheels. I mean, it's okay, but I'll do that, but vacuuming, I can't stand vacuuming anymore. I've done enough vacuuming where, and glass. Those are my
I
two.
tell you what, when it comes to paint correction, it's the bumpers for me. I hate doing the bumpers.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Well, and I always leave the bumpers for last, and then I'm kind of over it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay.
Yeah, see, I try and do them first and get them out of the way.
Oh, do you? Yeah, I always leave mine for last. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if somebody examined my bumpers, they probably don't look as good just because,
they're down low.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's kind of like an afterthought,
Yeah.
It's,
the roof isn't much fun either, especially on a big truck.
yeah, so that doesn't bother me too much because it's a challenge. Because it's like you and I going up Everest.
Yeah, exactly.
Is we've accomplished something big when we get the roof on a big truck done because you can't reach it. So I got a secret weapon though. We were talking about it earlier. Since I like to eat tacos, my midsection is a little patty. So you just leave that midsection right over the rail, and you can reach anything you want. And you don't hurt anything. So Bob Phillips would probably bend the truck.
Or dent it.
Yeah. So so let's talk each one of yours. We're going to go first with you this time. Is your past. So you come to SEMA, Chris is into it, and you come out and you meet all of us for the first time. You're at that's like the Super Bowl of all the automotive events. So what's your thought pattern? What were you doing at that time, and were you ready to move on?
I was working 2 different jobs. I was customer service for a retail store in South Carolina, and I was doing nails. So I was kind of over the customer interaction part. The mean customer interaction part. Because after COVID hit, everybody just got nasty. Like, people were so rude, and I was kind of over it. And like the thought of just me in this interior, not having to talk to Chris, but not having to like interact with people. Chris was enough.
I have to talk to Chris. Yeah, have to talk to Chris.
But just the thought of like being able to relax and not feel so tense, that was my biggest reason for my jump. Was like I was tired of dreading doing something and going into my job. I wanted to be happy.
That's cool.
And that's what I found in detailing, was just like I found my calm. I found where I could zone in on things, and it was my thing.
So now that you've been into detailing for a while, do you have days to where it's like you're not into it?
Sometimes, but it's not
too often.
No, and I still go do it, like, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I'd rather be working on a car than sitting here moping around doing nothing. So
Gaia.
I talk myself out of it. It's easier for me to talk myself out of it now than it was working retail.
Yeah, I shared this with you guys earlier in the week as I was telling my son. Son was saying something about, he's having a tough day. And I said, just think there's somebody somewhere that is going to Walmart that's going to spend 30 years going to Walmart to work, that hates it. And it sucked every bit of their life and their soul. And I said, but just like that, I said, there's an attorney somewhere that went to school, prestigious college. He's going to his law firm, or she's going to the law firm. And that job's sucking the life out of him just as much as the individual going to an entry-level job.
Or an accountant.
Or an accountant, or executive, I mean, I had a great career, and I often talk about it. I love it. It was great memories, but it was sucking the soul out of me because I wasn't meant to do it. Does that make sense? I was not meant to do it. You can look at the money. You can look at the prestige. You can look at all this stuff. But listen, the world's changed. We had a very short time in our history to where jobs were prestigious. Everything before that, you were basically slave labor, and everything since then, you're basically slave labor. I hate to say it, unless you really dig it. I know there's doctors and stuff like that love what they do, you know, and I've got a friend of mine that is, and I've talked about this when I was a kid. I wanted to be a trash man because they got to ride on the back of the truck. That was my whole theory. But I got a good friend of mine that's just spent the last 26 years in the disposal company here, and it was a great career, and he loved it. So it was pretty cool. So Chris, now your background. This law enforcement, EMS,
Fire.
You've seen some shit. You're SWAT. Yeah. So go into your past, and what kind of took you, what kind of took you to where, okay, I gotta get out of everything I've done and get into something new.
Yeah. So started out in law enforcement in 1998. Went full time in 99. I saw right off the bat I want to be very, very good at everything I've done. So I immediately started putting myself through tactical training and everything like that, which led me to the SWAT team. I was on the competition team, multiple call outs, things of that nature. Of course, after 9/11, that changed up a lot of stuff. They started recruiting a lot of tactical officers, tactically trained individuals for projects. So I took contracting after that, and that was a huge jump because I started out as a deputy, $27,000 a year. Left as a sergeant, $32,000. So right. It's a huge jump when you go to contracting. So did that for a couple of years. Contracts, started drying up. Came back to law enforcement. Was involved in some bad incidents over that time frame, which led to my chronic PTSD. So yeah, I saw I needed a change. So I was able to do fire service, and it didn't affect me as much. I loved it, and I loved helping people. I loved being there and a person's worst time in their life and trying to help them, come back. And fire and EMT, that kind of, it goes together. So yeah, and lost 2 friends right after that, locally. Both were killed in the line of duty, and my kids came to me and like, we had enough. You need to find something new. So I went to work for a large manufacturing company because that's, pretty decent money in the area. Wasn't too bad. Worked 14 days out of the month and got into detailing, like more professionally. Went to a class up in North Carolina. That spiked my interest even more. Heard about you, and I was like, wow, I got to check this out. Started researching detailing success and got in touch with y'all and came out here in May of 2019. And ever since then, I've been, again, training is very, very important to me. So continuing my education and getting up as much as I can,
So how's it help? I mean, okay, so, so with people that have really been stressed in their current careers, in their past careers, I look at it, I mean, being self-employed has been it's been stressful. There's a lot of things you carry along with you. But again, the good side, I always remind myself of this. Everything's tough. I mean, everything's tough. It's tough believe it or not, it's tough to fail. It's tough to succeed. I always say, choose your tough, but here's the deal. I'd much rather be stressed and be able to control that stress in my own gig than being stressed and having somebody else control it for me. Does that make sense? So family-based business. Okay, you guys, you got kids, you got the 2 of you. How do you make it work? How do you make it work?
I'd say communication. We talk about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about I talk about my feelings a lot, especially if anything bothers me. I make sure to let him know, so that way we could figure out how to fix it then,
mm-hmm.
and work through it, and we're good. Because I know what we have isn't what a lot of people are able to do. So I would rather fix it and work on it then just be like, you know what, forget it. I'm mad at you. That's it. Like,
Right.
there's no reason to do that. It's literally just talking, like, just talk it out. And then you fix what you got to fix.
I like it.
Yeah. She's always the one to kind of get a little spastic. I've always had a very laid back demeanor.
He's going to pay for that one later.
Yeah. I'll probably,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if,
Yeah,
if I called Brittany spastic, I'd be getting slapped.
Yeah,
right
well, there goes that continuity. That's right out the door.
No.
We're going to talk later.
Yeah,
So she gets excited, so I might catch a 34-1.
excited. It's not
so-
from spastic to.
Yeah.
We're just gonna keep digging you in deeper, buddy. You know. Wow.
But I always had that very calm demeanor, no matter what the situation is. Somebody could be shooting at me, and I'll be just calm as could be. But so I have to be. I keep a level head. I know that I help her as much as I can. When she starts to get concerned or worried about things, it's just like, no, you just break it down in your process and work through it. And I think she'll agree with that. That sometimes she does get
I do.
a little overwhelmed. So, and I
you
just
know,
try to bring her back down to earth a little bit.
Well, but here's that some people would say that's magical because you've got one with one type of personality and one with the other. So I think that a lot of times helps, but it also can be fuel in a match, you know, because Diane and I are dead opposite, right? And just from a person that's spastic, I guess is the word you use, I'm that spastic person.
Yeah.
But you calm fuckers like to like hold everything in and then let it loose at once. Am I close?
Oh,
there you go.
Nail on the head.
There you go. Yep. And so, you know, being a little more spastic, as you put it, might help.
Yeah.
You know,
and you're right. Because she's going to vent and she's going to let it all out, and I let her. I mean, that's the way it is. But when we work together, it's like it just clicks, just like being with any other team. It just clicks. You know, she's reading off of me, I'm reading off of her. And
do you guys know definitively what your lanes are or what each one does? Not just, you know, interiors, exteriors, windows, wheels, but what about like the books, and what about like the money management? What about the marketing? So do you guys have it defined?
Yep.
You do. That's cool.
She handles, like TikTok. She can make great TikTok videos. I am not as well. But like social media marketing, Facebook, IG, stuff that nature, Google business, I manage most of that stuff, and the books and the CRM and everything. So,
that's cool. So you guys collectively have been to a lot of industry events and projects and everything else. You've met some amazing people.
Amazing.
So what are going to those events? What do you get out of that? I mean, one of the things that, you know, I'll take in, you know, I'm going to throw it up. You made a lot of notes here.
Yeah.
You know, meeting people, you know, the presidents of company, Bob Phillips. You know, Dave Phillips is the chemist behind it. You got Gordon McCall.
Yeah.
You know, that guy started out as a detailer and it puts on one of the finest events in the automotive world, you know, that we've been involved in. SEMA, Mobile Tech Expo, you know, all these different events that you've gone to, and all these different people. So meeting these people, you know, what's it do for you personally, and what's it do for your business?
Personally, for me, it lights a fire under me. Like after every training, after every convention we meet up with, it sparks something in me where my fire is going and I'm ready. I get home, I'm so motivated. It gets me so hyped.
Got you.
For me, like you said, Gordon and Bob, one thing that stands out about me, these are guys that came up in this industry and they're very humble. That's the reason I love PNS is Bob's he's a humble guy. He's laid back. Gordon's an amazing guy. Came up from, you know, ground up, and he was just so humble and just talked to us just like anybody else would. You know, it wasn't nothing. And Bob's the same way. But not just them. I mean, many other guys in the industry that I idolize.
Trench people,
Justin,
Yeah.
Justin Lobato. I mean, these are guys I look up to, and I work to hopefully be like that one day. But one thing I noticed that I took away from all of them was give back to where you come from.
Absolutely.
You know, help anybody else come up that you possibly can.
Absolutely.
And that's I think that's one of our greatest things that we want to do is just help as many as we can and offer the advice, anything we could contribute, we try to help.
So this isn't on the notes, but I'm going to ask you guys, what's your favorite thing you've ever worked on?
Oh,
That was just stood out.
probably. Okay, so I'm a newer Star Wars fan. So we worked on one of our customers. He has this Corvette, and on the back of it, it's got X-wing. So when he pulled in backwards, I was just like in awe because I was like, he does not have X-wing on the back of his license plate. And I was like, I made a TikTok video with the Vader sound in it. That's probably my favorite vehicle that I've worked on.
Oh, that.
It was like I was walking out of the garage and he was pulling it in. So it was just kind of like a moment. And I was like, I'm working on the X-wing. And that's just like, I just thought of it as that.
Chris and I are both Star Wars fans too. Chris he's got a collection like you wouldn't believe. It's real. Have you ever seen it?
I've seen it here and there, and he's talked about it before.
It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool. So, what about you?
His tattoos. He's got a whole Star Wars
I
sleeve.
know. So I was looking at that all week, man. It's like, wow, pretty cool.
My greatest thing I ever worked on. Wow. Well, I guess you know. Air Force One. Air Force One, the B-29. Definitely two of the greatest things I've ever worked on.
To touch something with that history, right?
The history, and you know, when you go up there, you're thinking, "Oh, look at me! I'm going to." No, it's just so much bigger than what you are.
Oh yeah,
it's so much bigger than what you are.
You know, Diane and I were watching we went in and just watched a little bit of Netflix last night. We're watching a mini series on SpaceX and going to space. And that airplane, I completely forgot about it. Johnson or Nixon, I can't remember who was in office when the astronauts from I believe it was Apollo 11 came back. Is they sent them on a world tour, and that Air Force One.
Not nice to see.
You know, and it was there. It is. You know, the astronauts from Apollo 11 are coming off an aircraft that we have changed history on, because that aircraft's aluminum would have been covered up and painted over forever had we not had Joe Clark. Let's give credit where credit's due. You guys know winglets. Wings on the end of the airplanes turn up down. Joe Clark, one of my customers, was the inventor of those things. He's the one that got us Air Force One. And so had Joe Clark not done that and seen something in me, in ability and you know what, he himself, because he funded part of it. He wanted it. He did not want history covered up with paint.
Why were they going to paint it?
They're going to paint it because the aluminum was in such bad shape. Boeing didn't think they could bring the aluminum back. And so I said we could. Joe said we could, and we did. And you look at it now, and I mean, it's just, you know, and there's other planes that we've got to do this to, but it's not easy. It is the hardest thing technically I've ever done.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, what was your favorite or most memorable part of going on the Air Force One project?
Wow. Well, first off was getting that phone call for the team.
We recorded it. We've got it.
You should have recorded it at home.
Yeah.
I got lifted.
I knew that
the
was going to
air.
be a special team because of the numbers. And when Renny called me that Friday, I was thinking, okay, he's going, hey, you know, maybe next year. No, it wasn't like that. I had such an amazing week that week, but it was working on the tail section of Air Force One because I went
on the flag.
Polishing out the flag. And I don't know why, but it was I'm up there polishing it out, and I get to thinking about really close friends that I'd lost not too many years ago, and their families and their kids, and I just dedicated it to them. Everybody I'd lost, you know, military and law enforcement and fire EMS back home, and I teared up. I couldn't even see what I was doing, and Bill Quinn we had to talk for a minute, you know, just to give me, you know, a breather.
It's a big flag up there. It is. It doesn't look big. They get up on that tail, and it's like, damn, that thing is huge.
Yeah.
It is literally the size of that banner behind you guys, which is a 10 by 10.
Yeah.
It's bigger than that. It is massive when you get up next to it. And so those that don't know, we only we have law enforcement, military, EMS, and then loved ones that had people that served in the military. They're the only ones that touch that flag. So they go up and do that. That's the priority. So it's pretty emotional.
Yeah, when Doug asked me, and or told me, hey, I want you to go up there and do that, I was just like, I was floored.
Yeah, it's pretty special. So hey, let's make an impact, Chris. Let's make a difference. So right now we want to thank P&S for taking. We're going to go through and right now give you guys some tidbits from these guys. Some questions I think are the most important questions of the day. But before we do that, P&S makes this happen. Team P&S. You guys are going to take and install two of my favorite coatings, and one of them is our interior coating. Why is that? Why is that one of my favorites? Because it preserves interiors, and it really does a good job for your customers, and it makes you guys money. The other one is Soul. It's our 1 year. We're going to teach you something right now. A lot of our teammates are making $150 to $200 an hour on. And, and it makes your customers real happy. But when it makes your customers real happy and it puts coins in your pocket that quick, those are two of my favorite. And the interaction. It's got a great water show, when it's on the car. Everything about it's really good. So we want to thank P&S. So, okay, here we go. And we're gonna break into this. So let's talk about leaving your full-time jobs. That is that for me, I mean, how do I put this? Fear for me is a really good propellant. That's why I do what I do. Jumping on that big old horse this last week for the first time in 28 years, I was like, this thing does not have a throttle. This thing does not have a brake. It's got a brain. Everything I'm used to driving and riding is got, one thing in common is I'm 100% in control. And if this thing decides I'm not in control, I'm not. And
you just got to tell them to stop.
Yeah. So, okay. So yesterday we were going to talk about that. I'm riding. They put me in listen, is if horseback riding, if you could have training wheels on the horse, I'm still at that stage. I'm not pretending I'm badass. I told her, take me all the way back. You're an ass. So yesterday, I call him up, and so she's taking me to the arena to start doing some, more precision riding, right? So I'm riding over. Well, she didn't tell me, and she didn't think about it, that the horse I'm on, he's got an arch enemy, and the arch enemy is right next to the entry of the arena. So I'm taking him wide to get him to go back in, and I got to duck through a little small gate, right? Well, those two start having a beef, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. They don't like each other." And so he just decides to take his own mind, and he's walking towards the truck. And I'm trying everything, but I'm a little bit freaking, right? Because this horse wants to kick this one's ass, and I'm on it. And that one's big, a lot bigger than this guy. So Tucker's his name. I'm riding Tucker, and I'm going, "Hey, Tucker, man, dude, no. And I'm giving him I'm screwing everything up, right? He's like, "Dude, I know you're green. I'm doing what I want." Well, he takes off, and he's following this horse, and he's going right for a car. And I'm telling him, "Dude, stop." And so I finally get, I gain my composure. I get him to stop. And she goes, "Hey, just a reminder. When you tell the horse to stop, he doesn't listen." So, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Thanks for bringing that up.
Rick Walling says that you're not supposed to say stop. You're supposed to say whoa.
Yeah, well, whoa doesn't working either. I was saying all those damn words, man, and nothing was working. All I knew is I saw a really nice Jeep, and this horse was, from my perspective, was going to go right over the top of this Jeep. So I was like a little bit, it was 30 seconds of not panic, but controlled chaos. That's a good term. Yeah. Controlled chaos. So you guys, both of you, right, left jobs. Mm-hmm. So I mean, again, when I left mine, it wasn't scary, but it was, when I wanted to make the decision when it was right, and I didn't want to premature. I didn't want to get, overconfident. I didn't want to get all that. So let's walk through. first off, how long were you part-time?
It's 2.5 years.
Okay.
Mine was about a year because I did it a year after him. I
Right.
started a year after him.
Okay, there you go.
So about a year and a half.
So some key facts from both of you is what did you put into action to leave those jobs? What did you have to have in place to feel comfortable enough to leave?
For me, it was the knowledge. I wanted to make sure I went through enough training to know, like, if I have a question, I can ask him, or I know it myself now. I don't have to go to him to ask as many questions about what should I use, what should I do, what do I grab, what towel.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know that I could do it without him there.
You didn't want to be spastic.
I did, yeah. I wanted to have my own. I wanted to try to calm myself, and I couldn't.
I love it. I love it.
Stir that pot.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just you guys are gonna have an interesting day. You're gonna see these guys going off to the corner. It's gonna rock 'em, sock 'em robots. A little
Get
later.
a knife hand over there.
That's it. She's little and she's scary. So what about you?
Mine was more of the planning, saving money, making sure I had the tools and equipment in place. I did a lot of the training. Of course, that was very important for me. It always is. And the knowledge to put myself in a position to get out and to continue to build my company. And just make sure I had the jobs in the market. And my clientele is my family, really is. I have amazing clients, and I love them to death. And we built relationships.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go on. This isn't scripted either.
Yeah.
Did your clients, did they know you were going full time? Did any of them know that you went?
Yeah, it's crazy because when I finally made that move, literally the day I left after, we worked with a local builder and truck builder, and he was like, "I'm gonna send you all the work I possibly can," and it was like it just landed in my lap, just out of nowhere. The mafia meeting we had the other night, Diana mentioned about you never know what's going to come back to you when, and it landed right there. I built my reputation up. That right there, she was right. You never know when it's going to hit you. It's something major is going to land in your lap, and it was a relief. I mean,
And you've since then, you guys have taken a risk in your company.
Yeah.
You made changes,
Yeah.
and good, bad, and ugly. I mean, risks are good, especially risks that aren't where I always ask myself on a risk: is it recoverable? And what's the impact going to be in the event that this thing just doesn't go as I planned? And if the risks are like controllable, like, yeah, it's going to hurt, it's going to sting, but it's not going to, it's not going to dent. I might have a bruise, but it's not going to cut me. Man, I go for it.
And you're right. We took a risk, and whether it be good or bad, I still learned from the bad.
Absolutely.
It was calculated risk.
Amen.
I still learned a great deal from that bad experiences.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, well, you take not doing something, not taking a step is a risk also.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Right.
It doesn't, it's every decision you make, whether it's to move forward on something or just to stay where you're at, is still a risk.
Yeah, in search and rescue, I'll take and teach either the civilian or the young soldiers is when they get up on ropes for the first time, whether we're just going over a kind of a area that could maybe cause one of us to slip or fall, or we're just carrying, or if we're going vertical, if we're going over the edge, is I always teach them, listen, I'll get up on and I'll have my rope attached and I'll have another rope right next to me and I'll lean into it. And I said, listen, I mean, I'm secure right now. As long as you don't do anything stupid, this rope is your lifeline. And I said, I have double checked all my knots. I've double checked my anchors. I've double checked everything, triple checked it. And I said, it's only when you do something stupid and I grab the other rope that's got weight on it, I throw it, and the anchor was bad, and everything comes over the side. And I said, that is death. You're gone, or you're mangled and you want to be dead, And I said, so it's the same thing in business. It's just check your anchor points, check your knots, check and make sure everything's good. Now, could I get bruised up? Oh man, I've come down some big descents, gone up some big ascents, going up. And I've gotten, I've had to pass over stuff. We've had to bring people up or down. And in doing so, I've lost every single fingernail on all 10 fingers has been gone at least twice. And on my right hand, all 4 of them were gone at the same time twice. And so was there losses? They grew back. They're here. Did it hurt? It sucked, But I'll tell you, my kids were little at the time when the last time it happened. And I was like, look at that. And they're like, whoa, you're crazy, And I was like, yeah, you just remember that, You would tell your future boyfriends that because I'll rip their fingernails off, And so, listen, and to this day, one of the things that, and I hate to keep going back to this, but it's again, I'm going through something brand new in my life that is pretty much brand new, and I'm doing it at an age where most people my age are sitting down. And here I'm going and I'm figuring out, and that's why I got Rip. He's 7. I calculated out my average age of when I'm not going to be able to ride him anymore. And he's going to be at the end of the time where I can't ride him anymore anyway. I looked at that factor because I wanted him to last that long with me. Is that here's the deal. Is there a risk at what I'm doing? Yeah. That's what I like. Could I get thrown and hurt? Yeah, I could. But I'm going to tell you in life, right? You can get thrown and hurt walking down the damn curb, and don't be, you gotta fear. I love fear. It's a great emotion. It keeps, fear. Woo, watch it. Warning sign. But don't paralysis by analysis. Go when you've looked at your anchors and you've looked at your knots and you looked over and you cleared yourself. You got the rope protection over the side so it's not going to braid the rope. You've got good rope. You look at the inspection tag. Guess what? You're good to go. You're going to be okay. That's what you guys did. Yep. You did all those things. So now, what was the final green light? When you take us back to that day where you said, I'm quitting my ball and chain. My ball and chain is gone. So I'm going to hear from you first. That you decide, I'm going to go in. I'm done. What was that? How scary was it leading up to that day, and then explain that day and explain the next day?
Well,
hers was easy.
like I said, COVID had hit. Customers were nasty. They were rude. They were entitled. They didn't care that you were coming in, risking yourself for them type of thing. Mm-hmm. Management started getting stressed and everything. So they were taking it out on us. Customers were taking it out on us. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing this part-time. We have clientele. We have people, we're lining it up, and everything was hitting everywhere. And I just texted Chris one day and I was like, I'm either going to quit or I'm going to lose my job. My mouth is going to get me to lose my job. And
see, that's that spastic I was
yeah,
talking
my
about.
spastic was up here then. And it was so bad. And that's a lot of what it was. I was coming home with anxiety. I was coming home mad. I was coming home stressed. And for what? Because people are mean? No, I don't need to go through that. I don't deserve that. So I texted him and I was like, it's either I quit or I lose my job.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I went in and I did go about it the wrong way. And I kind of regret it now.
Went spastic?
I went spastic. I pulled the manager to the back and I let him know every single reason why I was upset. I let him know for a good 15 minutes after I clocked out. And I left.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes it just feels good.
Oh, it felt great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I think you went about it the right way. That's okay.
I called Chris and I was like, I'm out.
Is he ever going to even if you were nice, was he ever going to get a detail from you?
Oh, I told him when I left. I said, let me know when you want your car done.
Did he come back?
No.
Okay.
I haven't heard from him.
Yeah. The spastic part probably got to him.
Yeah, he was probably like,
That's probably the price part.
That too.
Yeah. So, okay. So yours leading up to.
Wow.
Jab paralysis by analysis.
Yeah. Yes. And I planned, I was looking at the year before, back in January of 2020, I was going to make that step, and I held in there another year.
Probably better.
Yeah. And I don't regret it. I think it was a good move on my part, to wait it out that long. But still, it was that fear, like you said. It was there, that over-analysis of everything.
What if?
Yeah, what if? And I've always been a provider.
Did you guys write out a list? Did you guys ever?
I did.
You did?
I did.
I
Did you?
didn't.
No?
I was on the spot. I was the spaz.
I did.
Okay.
I did
In the
the
heat of
whole
the
pros,
moment.
I'm seeing it now.
pros,
Seeing it
cons
now.
thing.
Once I
I
got
did
the okay
everything.
from him.
Check
Yeah.
boxes,
Everything.
everything, and I listen to members of the group and know the guys that have been here, and I know there's going to be struggles. We're struggling to. I mean, we struggle. I mean, it is. We're out here. We're trying to do our thing, and finally, I turned in my notice, 2-week notice. I was a supervisor, so I definitely had to get some people trained up in positions to take over for me. But I knew they were in good hands because I'd already been doing it. So my crew that I had was amazing. I knew they could handle themselves.
So what was your boss's response and what was your crew's response?
My crew was happy for me, man.
Mm-hmm.
They had always been so supportive of me. I love those guys to death. Matter of fact, I hope they watch this because I know they will. They're still so supportive, and I get text messages constantly. My crew was actually my best hype people. It was crazy. They loved me. I was their friend. I was their leader. And I never saw myself as a boss. Yeah. I was always a leader.
I hate that name. I hate that term, boss.
Yeah. It's just that gives off a wrong impression for me.
Yeah, I've never liked it. I never liked calling somebody my boss, and I never liked somebody calling me boss. I hate it.
Yeah,
And
my manager, I think it kind of let the wind out of his sail a little bit, because I took pride in what I did. I tried to make my crew and promote as much as I could, and I think he took it. I think he took it rough, but he knew that's where my heart was.
Good.
He knew.
Good. Good. Okay. Any pointers? If you had to say, if each one of you had to give one pointer to somebody getting ready to leave the ball and chain, to leave their careers, what would it be?
Make sure what you're doing makes you happy.
I like it.
Happiness. Plan, save up. That fear is going to be there. Let it drive you. Don't let it hinder you. Let it push you towards your goal, and just get out here and do it. You can do it. Just get out here and do it.
I think the key thing you said, two things, is that you really enjoy what you do, because there's going to be times to where it's stressful. You're not going to go into small business and not have stressful days, times, weeks, months, years.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. That's how you handle it. And then also getting your mind right of going and taking some time off and doing things you like to do that's outside. I'm telling you, the most, we were talking about it, your shirt yesterday, is that average is broke and is weird as wealthy. And I think that to stay on the kind of weird side in our industry is you got to have a lot of outside interest. I think that outside interest actually keeps you sparked and keeps you hungry, believe it or not. I think that it might be bowling. It might be, it can be anything that you really, really dig. I've got one of the most macho guys, Wally Kaiser, and I don't know if Wally was on search and rescue with me. He's one of the toughest warriors I've ever been around in my entire life. And if you look at Wally, he's not a big guy. He's a slender guy. He's very mild when you meet him. He's one of the most driven individuals I've ever met. He's one of the most intelligent men I've ever met. He's got a heart of a lion. And he could still, at probably close to 60, do things now that I wasn't able to do at my peak. That's how tough this dude is. And I asked him one day, he's a machinist by trade, and can build, he's a MacGyver on steroids. Him and Dave Guthmiller both. But Wally was a goat. He could go anywhere and he could do anything. And I once asked him, I said, Wally, man, I was young. I was in my 20s. I said, what you're really smart for being so young. And he goes, I got a lot of interest. I learn a lot about a lot. And I never get into something without being the best at it. I was like, wow. And he's really into off-roading and overlanding right now. And his Jeep, it's just stupid, what he's done to it. He was into overlanding motorcycles for a number of years. His bike, unbelievable. Search and rescue. We did things that teams that we did things 30 years ago with him that teams are just starting to do now 30 years later. I mean, when everybody else would not go into a scene and go in to get people, we would because of Wally. And I'd go anywhere with them. I lost, matter of fact, those 4 fingernails with Wally. I just had my knee rebuilt. Probably shouldn't have been on mission. Wasn't clear to be on mission yet. Wasn't cleared from my doctor. Wasn't cleared from the department. But we had a nasty one, and we're climbing up to this guy, and I hooked my right hand. Wally was up. He was leading, and a rock came down and crushed my hand between a rock and a rock. And so Wally got up there, and I was stuck. I was literally hanging. It was cool for a little while because I couldn't feel anything in my fingers. I didn't know if they're smashed, if they're what, but they could not pry the rock away. They just were able to get the rock away enough, and I had to rip them out. When I ripped them out, my fingernails were gone. But I wouldn't have got down there if it wasn't.
Did it all bleed and all that?
You know, I was so good. We were so concerned of getting up to this guy hanging on the rock that I really didn't know. But when we got up there, I realized that I had strained my knee pretty bad because I just had surgery literally 60 days before that. And I had all kinds of, stuff in there, hardware in there. And I had a cadaver. Part of it was from a person that had passed, and they'd taken part of their ligament, from their knee and put it in mine. Then I had fiber optics in it, and then about 6 screws holding it all together. And I just remember getting up there, and I was like, okay, I got a problem. My fingers are pretty much toast. And how the heck am I going to get down? Because now my knee hurts, and I don't have a hand to use. And we got a subject, with us that we got to get out of there. And I just remember Wally being so tough that I helped, but he took on 30% of what I was supposed to do himself. And I share this with you is because that's one of the most well-versed humans I know in all of life. And he's one of the smartest people I know. And he's just gotten into everything. I asked him one time, I said, if you just stayed into business, what would you be? And he goes, broke. Because I wouldn't learn about all these things. Everything teaches me that affects my business. Everything I do teaches me that something that goes back to business that helps me. And he goes, here's the other thing. I get sick and tired of doing what I'm doing. When I go out and have a fun, adventurous weekend, or we go on a cool-ass mission, we go save somebody's life, or we bring somebody home that's dead, that their family would have never been able to find them if it wasn't for what we went and did. I come on Monday and I appreciate what I do because I don't have to do that every day. I was like, wow, man, that was, yeah. So let's go into this. What's next for you guys?
Real fast. I wanted to back up to something we were talking about a minute ago when they were talking about the days that they left their jobs. I left I don't know if corporate job's the right word. We had 20 employees at the time, so it wasn't a huge company. But when I left, there were a number of things on my mind that I wanted to share, but I didn't. And, I think, being careful not to burn a bridge is an important thing to consider. And not just because maybe you'll want that job back. In fact, hopefully you won't. But you're in the same community as those people, whether it's a big community like LA or a small town, either way, you're part of that community, and you never know when your paths are going to cross. You never know, it's such a small world these days. You never know when some connection is going to be made as a result, Yeah,
that's a great point. I left, I worked for a company that was out of Ireland that just came to the United States, big company. And I was director of business development for them. And I left, and I gave them, I think it was an 8-week notice. I think 2 months, because I knew I had to, get somebody in to take over what I was doing, and it was going to take a while. And I remember I was about a year into our business, and it was, it was going into winter, and so we were in the Rocky Mountains of Idaho, and it was our first winter, and it was slow, right? And I was like, we're going to have to figure something out. And all of a sudden, my phone rang, Chris, to your point. And it was my old boss, Mike Scott. And he goes, hey, dude, how's it going? He says, yeah. I said, hey, you remember that project we did up in Washington? So, yeah. And he goes, we're getting ready to build that thing out. And we're really unclear on a couple things. Is there any way you can come and spend like a week with us? We'll hire you on just to come help us through this little period. And I went, yeah. And he threw out a number of pay, and I went, well, that gets me through part of winter right there. just in a week or 8 days, whatever it was. And they ended up doing that 3 or 4 times. And it was really a lifeline that came down and really helped me out through those tough times. It really did. And I hadn't really thought about that. I hadn't thought about that in 20 years, since you said that. So good point. So, hey, so what's next? What are you guys doing?
Well, the shop hunt continues. We're still trying to get a brick and mortar there locally. We've been hunting, and the market's pretty dry. I wish we had a lot of stuff like the West Coast guys do. Yeah, it'd be amazing. Like at Oscar's shop, I wish I could find something like that.
It's a cool shop.
Man, it's perfect. That is exactly what I could do. I could do the P&S storefront up front, work on the cars, and one of us can break away, take care of a detail customers as they come in, or sell products.
Absolutely.
So growth, we are planning on adding another employee to help us out. We are very familiar with this individual. Matter of fact, he has goals and set, and we want to help him reach those goals in the future. He's a very young kid. He will be here with you next month.
Cool.
So he is
awesome.
off to a good track, and we want to make sure we can help him out as much as we can, build him up.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
He's a good kid. He's a really good kid.
Yep.
So, how do people connect with you guys? So you got TikTok.
Yep.
We're talking TikTok.
We got TikTok. We've got it's under ECC Detailing for East Coast Custom Detailing. We both got Instagrams. His is Chris _ ECC Detailing. I'm Marcy _ ECC Detailing. Then we have our business page, which is East Coast Custom Detailing LLC. We're both on Facebook under our Chris Williams Marcella Loza. And then we have the East Coast Custom Detailing Facebook page as well. So
Cool.
We're connected through everything. We've got our Google Business and.
Well, I'll tell you what. You guys watch your Google Business much?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's unreal
what
that exposure
It's
that gets.
crazy.
And really is if you guys aren't using that, use it. Is and then uploading fresh pictures.
So simple, easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say uploading new, and I got to even do better at that with ours. But uploading just pictures to it regularly really helps keep it active.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, well, hey, we want to thank you guys. This has been fun.
Yeah,
we got to get you up. You were back. You're
Oh.
back over there. Come on, you got to introduce yourself real quick. So we had MIA student. So
Hi, I'm Brad. My part-time detail business is called the New Car Image in Lawrence and in the Kansas City area. So,
I love the name. New Car Image. If you go back, that's there's history to that.
yeah, I did it in high school,
Yeah.
starting in 1989, and
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
real life got in the way for the last 35 years.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Well, hey, thanks everybody. Thanks you guys.
Thank you.
And it's pretty cool that we've got, family, that this was kind of a family affair, and we hope that you got something out of it. So make sure, comment, anything that you want to hear, make sure to make a comment here, share it, subscribe, and then, let other people know about it. We really, Chris, what's our biggest goal? We talk about this all the time with this podcast. What's our goal? Is it
Helping people.
Yeah, other people.
Right.
We want to continue a message of prosperity to help people. And here's our goal. If we get a lot of messages, we'd love to hear what you guys think of the shows. But I don't care if we only get one message a week that says, wow, I got something out of that. It makes it worth it, and we love hearing it. We love hearing your story. We love hearing personal stories on how maybe we've changed your opinion on something or how we've been an influence. But as long as that happens, we move forward with this. It's one of my favorite times, especially when we can share it with people. So you guys take care. Have a powerful rest of the week. We'll see you next week on the show, and take care, everybody. Happy detailing. We'll see you soon.